President Muhammadu Buhari has given approval to the Presidential Task Force and other relevant bodies to commence clinical analysis on the Madagascar herbal potion. The COVID Organics is an organic herbal concoction launched by the President of Madagascar, who claims that it can prevent and cure patients suffering from coronavirus. President Rajoelina attributed the recovery of a number of patients in the country to the herbal potion. The federal government is also working with the World Health Organization to commence a treatment regimen solidarity trials in 6 states, to include Lagos, the FCT, Ogun, Kaduna, Sokoto, and Kano states. In the meantime, the president's directive was also confirmed yesterday by the chairman of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Mr. Boss Mustafa, who mentioned that the COVID Organics will be subjected to local scrutiny upon arrival, meaning that it must pass through validation tests.
It's been freighted to Guinea-Bissau by the president of Madagascar, president or prime minister, sent it to Guinea-Bissau. And certain allocations have been made to different countries. We have an indication of the quantity that has been allocated to Nigeria, and we are supposed to make arrangements to freight it out of Guinea-Bissau to Nigeria. I've received instructions from Mr. President to make arrangements to freight it home, with a clear instruction that I should subject it to the validation process, similar to what would happen to any other medicine or syrup or vaccine that is discovered or created internally. So it will be subjected to the same process before it is put into any form of use.
In our attempts to finding solutions to the COVID-19, joining us on the program is Mrs. Chinelo Okonkwo, Assistant Director of Pharmaceutical Sciences. She's the Secretary, Special Projects Committee, APNAN. She joins us from our Abuja studios. Welcome to the program. Looking for solutions to the SARS-CoV-2, how close would you say Nigeria is?
Thank you very much for that interesting question. I would like to say that some things are going in the pipeline, although we're not very close to the solution to COVID-19. The drugs for the treatment is still undergoing trials. And this is a challenge for most countries. There's no global standard drug at present. And we have the information that some proposals have been sent for validation to check some herbal products to see if they will treat patients and cure them of COVID-19 in Nigeria.
So the World Health Organization has talked about over 89 vaccines that are in the process undergoing clinical trial. What is the clinical process for medical verification? What processes, does it go through?
In terms of medical validation and processes for the launching of new drugs, we have preclinical trials and we also have clinical trials. Preclinical trials in the sense that the new agent would have been tried on animals through in vivo studies or in vitro studies, whereby the agent is tested on body fluids, body organs, or on organisms. In terms of vaccines, they are still on the pipeline because there is no valid vaccines for now, as well as treatment. And we have clinical trials whereby in the first phase, you try such products on healthy individuals. They have to volunteer to be tested with the new products before it can come into existence. And then we also have phase 2 trials. In phase 1 trials that you do with healthy individuals, they shouldn't be more than 100. It's tested in few people. But for the second phase, you test the product on people that have the disease. Like in the case of vaccines, you're trying to prevent the infection, so it has to be tested on the target population. And then before you go into multi-center trials, which is phase 3. So during such processes, we try to check the effects, the adverse effects, and what the product has to offer, so that when somebody is exposed to such organism or infection, the bodies will be protected. because the vaccine is supposed to stimulate antibodies from the immune system to protect the person. So their process is not a one-day effect. It takes a long time before you can come out with a validated product.
How different is the solidarity trials, which the World Health Organization has said a few states in Nigeria are willing to commence a treatment regimen?
Yeah, the solidarity trials is an international clinical trials by the World Health Organization. In this trial, the World Health Organization has come out with some protocols reducing the steps in which a product is launched. There are 4 products in the pipeline, like we have remdesivir, we have hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine, we have lopinavir, ritonavir, we also have interferon beta alpha that is being tried. The essence is for WHO to come up with a standard treatment for COVID-19. That is why they have come up with that, to reduce the timing, to reduce the time it will take for the product to be launched. And we know that it's a problem when you are trying to do trials like in a place in Nigeria, people have to understand what you're trying to do. Like NAFDAC sent out this approved hydroxychloroquine for trials. How many people were able to volunteer to be tested on that drug? So that is an issue here. So WHO has done this because the health system is under pressure, and this pressure also affects the WHO. That's why they have to do something fast in this emergency situation where we have COVID-19 that is already killing people.
Even though you've mentioned that we are in an emergency situation, do you expect that there will be some risks with the solidarity trials?
No, I don't expect it to be a risk because in the drug discovery and development industries, we now use artificial intelligence. Using artificial intelligence and machine learning enables a product to be produced very quickly, reliable, and with precision. Something that a machine can simulate and tell you products that will do very well, like in most of these drugs that WHO is trying, apart from remdesivir that is new to trying it on viral infection. Okay, that is very new, that hasn't been given patency. Some of them are drug repurposing. They already have clinical evidence for use in certain ailments, like we know hydroxychloroquine has found clinical evidence and efficacy in the treatment of malaria. But in this case, the dose differs. So it's not, even though I mentioned emergency situation, it's drug repurposing, that makes it shorter because there are a lot of toxicity studies has been done to show that using these drugs with long term, you can be sure people will not be exposed to getting some toxicities like causing cancer, modifying their genetic makeup, or causing teratogenic effects affecting pregnant women or affecting the major organs in the body. So we have to, those drugs are already in use for other evidences, but WHO wants to try them because they have found cure or relief for most patients that they use some of these drugs to treat in China and some other countries.
I must quickly ask you,
like as at 20, okay.
Just to quickly ask you your opinion of the COVID organics, that's the Madagascar herbal solution to COVID-19.
My opinion for COVID organic that Madagascar has presented to the world now is that there is nothing wrong in trying a herbal product, so long as it has proven efficacy. Like as we see the Madagascar drug that has been presented is an eye-opener that a lot of things have gone into phytomedicine. They have support. That is why they're able to come up with this remedy. There is nothing wrong with it, and I like what the approach the federal government is using in sending these products into validation tests. In other words, we have to check that all those toxicity things I mentioned are not there, and that the product is stable and safe. After a long while, we have to look at the safety studies and the efficacies to be sure that the claims they have is also correct. And then for us in Nigeria, coming back to our own phytomedicine, we have to, while we think local, we have to also think global. For instance, the drug that Madagascar has presented, if these drugs come out to be valid and the claims are right, then it should be a drug that can be used globally. If I use it in Nigeria, then somebody in US or other countries should be able to use it. And that's what we're looking at, to see that this product is safe and that the claims that they have presented is also correct.
All right, we appreciate your time to finding these solutions. We hope indeed that the world can get those solutions quickly. Thank you, Mrs. Chinyelo Okonkwo, Assistant Director of Pharmaceutical Sciences.
Thank you very
Many
much.
thanks for joining us on the program.